The theory of multiple intelligences in the sign language classroom. With the majority of language classroom delivery still based on unilateral ways of teaching, there is an increase of research on authentic language learning activities in order to bridge the gap between real-world and classroom tasks. I believe that part of bringing authenticity to the language classroom is providing authentic measures of assessment. As I explored in a recent post this last week, project-based assessments allow for this kind of authentic measurement. After all, a multiple-choice exam or essay question cannot measure the nuances of a language and the student's ability to function in unscripted conversations. But project-based assessments, also called portfolio or exhibition-based assessments, support students from diverse backgrounds, Cunningham, 2018, to show their understanding of a topic in any one of a myriad of ways, Peterson and Neal, N.D. Armstrong, 2018, explores various ways students can show their knowledge in his book, Multiple Intelligences in the Classroom, page 136. Rather than assigning a one-size-fits-all project, he suggests giving students a list of project ideas so they are empowered to choose how they want to show what they have learned. I will brainstorm project assessment ideas for the American Sign Language classroom by focusing on the 8 different approaches to learning that Gardner, 1983, termed as modalities of intelligences and Armstrong termed as smarts. For example, suppose you are teaching an ASL 102 class with both hearing and deaf or hard of hearing students in your classroom. Interpret your favorite slam poem into sign language. Give a presentation on each of the VGC classifiers. Draw representations of the non-manual markers in sign language. Perform a dance that incorporates signs into the dance moves. Interpret your favorite song into sign language. Record yourself in a video chat with a deaf friend. Learn how to pray or recite your personal mantras in sign. Compose an ASL poem using VGC to show the beauty of nature. Rather than relying on standardized examinations, which UNESCO, 2015, says largely cater to students who do well with reading, project assessments enable students to choose their own method which nurtures their love of learning and prepares them for the workforce, page 3. After all, rarely are employees expected to complete standardized tests, but most are consistently completing project-based assignments. An increasing number of companies have even changed their hiring process to align with this understanding. For example, this last week I applied to a company that, rather than having me send in a cover letter, i.e. an essay question, had me complete 8 example assignments to show my skills. If the skills of planning, creating, and completing a project are vital in today's world, why not teach them in the classroom? As with other languages, most schools and teachers default to assessing ASL learning by focusing on easy-to-test linguistic concepts like grammar, conjugations, and vocabulary. However, these types of tests focus only on the superficial elements of a language. Yildirim, 2008, warns against testing the product of language learning and not the process. 2007, points out that teaching to the test results in non-tested subjects, increasingly excluded from curricular content, page 260. In other words, how do you measure the nuances of language, the ability to function in unscripted conversations, the desire to communicate despite technical errors? A multiple-choice exam or essay question does nothing to measure what truly counts in language learning for most students: the ability to communicate and connect with others in the language community. I see project-based assessments representing a shift from summative to formative assessments, from standardized testing to student portfolios, from high-stakes examinations to low-stress exhibitions. In the language learning classroom, these projects allow students to orient to their language goals by providing ways to show their ability to communicate, interpret, or translate, depending on what they hope to use the language for in the future. Most importantly, I see these types of assessments as a way for teachers to nurture a love of learning, promote diversity, and support students in their individual strengths and weaknesses.